War Thunder eSports, a phenomenon that by all means should not exist at all considering how broken this game has been throughout its history. And yet, for more than 10 years now, Gaijin has been trying to make it a reality. Now, personally, I don't think War Thunder is engaging enough for viewers to succeed as an esport, but hey, if you like it, I don't want to take it away from you. In fact, you might be interested in the WTCS Grand Finals, which are happening right now. Actually, who am I kidding? You are only there for Twitch drops, and to be fair, those give you some pretty good stuff. P51A, for instance, is a very good plane that hasn't been obtainable since 2015. So that's all well and good, but what if I told you that War Thunder eSports feature not just awesome competitive matches, but also corruption, cheating, toxicity, and doxing? This probably doesn't surprise you at all, but it's not the players who do this. It's the tournament management hired by Gaijin. In fact, I only became aware of this when a few tournament players came to me with this information. They are so sick and tired of the current management that in their desperation they asked me to talk about this to bring attention to this topic. So, let's do it. War Thunder Tournament Service, or TSS, is a system that allows both Gaijin and players to host their own tournaments on its website, which is very convenient since it is integrated into the game. This service also has a management team that oversees and moderates all these tournaments. It consists of regular players that get hired by Gaijin if they are considered up to the task, at least in theory. There is one more important thing, the forbidden fruit that corrupts everyone it touches, the console. The console is a developer tool that can be used to give any player in the game anything they want. Vehicles, GE, decals, titles, items, anything that exists within the game. And high-ranking members of the TSS team have access to this console. I'm sure you can see where this is going. So, the people I will be discussing today are Niika, the TSS manager, and tSuMi, the TSS moderator. Let's start with Niika, the big boss, as he is surprisingly the lesser evil in this situation. Prior to becoming a TSS admin, Niika was a leader of the in-game Oldest team, which also had a squadron and a sizable community. Under his leadership, they hosted a couple of pretty major tournaments, and their success caught the attention of Gaijin, who decided to make him the new manager. But what happened to the previous manager, you might ask? Well, his name was Zerba, and he was kicked out of the TSS team after he got exposed abusing the console to give tournament rewards to his friends. Now, what do you think the new manager would do in such a situation? He started abusing the console to give rare items to his friends and himself, of course. Things like titles and decals that were only meant for select few players who won big tournaments started appearing in accounts of people who had nothing to do with them. And you know, to regular people like me and you, that doesn't sound too bad. So what if some people got rewards that they didn't deserve? Not like it matters, right? Well, it does matter to players who take part in these tournaments. Imagine you are a TSS player and you try your absolute best to win these big tournaments just to get that one-of-a-kind reward so you can display your achievement to other people in-game. So you go through all that effort just to see that the friends of the manager also have it. That would be very demoralizing, and that's the reality of the current TSS. Also, keep in mind that it's not just decals and titles that Niika gives away. It's also rare things like the Bush 6-pack. You remember that thing? These days you can only buy single pieces of different bushes to put on your tank, but back in around 2015 they sold packs of 6 identical bushes for a very short time. They got removed very quickly as it became apparent that they were essentially pay to win. But hey, if you are a friend of Niika and you need a competitive advantage for regular games or tournaments, just ask him for a 6 bush pack. Fair and balanced, as they say. But if the previous manager got kicked out for doing this, then how come this guy is still around? You see, Gaijin only cares about Twitch views and tournament pack sales. And since this guy is doing well, I assume they are more than willing to look the other way. Now, unfortunately, what proof I have of this I cannot show you, as it would also expose the whistleblowers themselves. They would rather not feel the wrath of the TSS manager, so if you don't believe this story, that's fine. Now, say hello to tSuMi and welcome to hell. This guy is a moderator for TSS, eSports Discord, and the English eSports Twitch channel, and has also been recently promoted to a supervisor, whatever that means. Where do I even start with this guy? Let's talk about how he became a moderator in the first place, as this is by far the funniest part of this story. tSuMi is a person of many alt accounts. His main is called Blessed, a profile with outstanding stats that holds the rank of officer in the 100 squadron. He also has an alt account that is the commander of the Astro squadron, since tSuMi is the owner. This squadron was actually called Q initially, but they were forced to rename themselves, and oh boy, we'll get to that. So, on one fateful day, tSuMi was playing War Thunder on one of his alt accounts that had a Chinese name. By pure chance, he got into a game which had an in-game moderator on the other team. After killing the said moderator and typing LMFAO in the chat, Mr. White_3T here got so mad that he chat banned tSuMi for 30 days. Now, from what I've been told, this moderator assumed that a Chinese player would be an easy target for admin abuse, since they would have no way to defend themselves. Casual racism in War Thunder moderation, you love to see it. But tSuMi was not only not Chinese, but he also knew a lot of people, and a lot of people knew him. It would have been very easy for him to make a big deal out of it, but he chose a different approach. tSuMi blackmailed this moderator. He asked to be brought onto the TSS team in return for his silence, and the moderator agreed. And this is how tSuMi started his TSS career, which eventually led to him becoming a chief moderator. So, you know, good job, White_3T, you are a hero to this community. It's kind of hard to believe that such things can even happen in this game, but here we are. So then, what do you do when you join the TSS team? Do moderation work? Help with tournaments? No, you ask for rare items to be added into your account, of course. Hey guys, check out these cool tournament decals and titles that I suddenly have on this account. Don't they look great? And of course, as soon as actual tournament players looked at this account, they could instantly tell that none of it was legit. But hey, maybe I'm being too harsh. Yeah, this guy blackmailed the moderator into getting himself onto the TSS team and asked Niika for some console abuse to get restricted items, but maybe he's at least a good person. Yeah, about that. This used to be his profile picture, by the way. It is a statue created by Arno Brecker, a German sculptor who did a lot of work for the Nazis. But I'm sure it's just a coincidence. What is definitely not a coincidence is the unending tornado of slurs and racism coming out of tSuMi's mouth. I'm sure the pictures you are seeing right now speak for themselves. And keep in mind, these aren't some super old cherry-picked screenshots. These are all recent. This is how tSuMi regularly communicates with other people, and it's almost comical. When I look at all this, I can't help but imagine a 14-year-old kid who has just discovered slurs and racism and is now trying his absolute best to be the meanest racist on the planet to impress his internet friends. And this extends to his actual duties as a TSS member, as, don't forget, he is the chief Twitch moderator for the eSports channel. What do you think happens when someone calls one of the stream hosts ugly? Of course, tSuMi pins those messages in his squadron Discord and dies of laughter. This is the kind of behavior you would expect from a Call of Duty kid on Xbox Live, but certainly not from a high-ranking member of the TSS team. I mean, Jesus Christ, even his colleagues aren't safe. However, everything I mentioned so far pales in comparison to the final piece of information, tSuMi's squadron activities. As I said before, he is the creator and owner of the Astro Squadron, which was initially named Q, and he is an officer in the 100 Squadron. This is important, because at some point, tSuMi gathered a group of people from both squadrons for a very specific purpose. There is a certain War Thunder Twitch streamer that I don't want to mention by name because of privacy concerns. He is decently popular, and you have probably seen him if you ever visited the War Thunder Twitch section. Having seen some of his streams, this guy tends to get quite angry when things don't go his way in War Thunder, and that is likely why he was chosen as the target by tSuMi and his friends. They stream-sniped this guy day and night whenever he was streaming, and it was done in the meanest way possible. They specifically tried to get on his team to team kill and grief him over and over and over again. I mean, holy hell, they have a private playlist that consists of 57 videos of stream sniping this guy, and some of these videos are 30 minutes long. Also, pay attention to the guy team killing in this clip. Black Rose. He is one of tSuMi's friends who was very eager to team kill the streamer. He and tSuMi shared accounts and played together in squadron battles, so I have to assume they were close friends. And to absolutely nobody's surprise, Black Rose was eventually exposed for using cheats and got his account banned. Sunny is the one who exposed him, and he has a great video on his channel about this. Curiously, in this video, you can see messages of tSuMi defending Black Rose against the hacking accusations. So, he was close friends with a confirmed cheater, defended him, and even shared accounts with the guy. That sounds just a little bit sus. Either way, tSuMi and his friends were torturing this streamer for quite a while, but I guess that alone just wasn't enough for them. And one day, somebody leaked his IRL address to them. Yeah. Obviously, just doxing this guy wouldn't satisfy them, so they started thinking. One of them even went to his house and took pictures. Target scouted, am I right? At first, they wanted to send feces to his home, but they ended up ordering pizza instead. Not just regular pizza, but a pizza with the letter Q written on the box, because their squadron was named Q. They wanted him to know that it was them, and that they knew where he lived. And of course, they only did this specifically when this guy was streaming to see his reaction. And keep in mind, they did this not once, but multiple times. So, they had their fun, but eventually a few people started talking about this. In response, tSuMi suppressed all and any mention of this ever happening and renamed the squadron to Astro, although their Discord is still called Q. That's what I've been told, but I suspect there was even more to this situation. The whistleblowers who shared this hinted that there was a lot more people involved in this, but refused to elaborate. I don't know why they refused to talk about it, but it is what it is. So, tSuMi is potentially a Nazi, extremely toxic and racist, blackmailed a moderator to get onto the TSS team, received restricted rewards via the console abuse, was involved with confirmed cheaters, tortured an innocent streamer in-game, and ended up doxing and harassing him in real life. You know, I'm wondering about the legality of that last part. Surely at least some of it would be punishable by law, right? Even if it's not, I hope that we can all agree that this person should not only be ejected from his current position as a supervisor, but also permanently removed from this game and the community as a whole. And let's come back to Niika, the big boss, for a second. From what I've been told, Niika and tSuMi are friends, so much so that tSuMi has access to Niika's in-game account. So then, is Niika aware of all the things I've previously mentioned and is protecting tSuMi? Or is he just completely oblivious to all of this? Niika himself didn't really do anything evil, unlike tSuMi. Yeah, he abused the console to cheat rewards, but that's essentially all. Perhaps he truly just doesn't know, but I have no idea. Either way, I guess we will see how they all react if this video gets any reasonable amount of views. I also feel like I'm playing with fire by making these videos. I have already pissed off a super hacker, and now I'm going to have the TSS team and potentially Gaijin themselves going after me. Still, I think these things are worth talking about. There is no greater pleasure than seeing people like tSuMi get what they deserve. And I'm sure you will agree that this guy deserves punishment like no one else. I have one last thing to show you. This is a screenshot of Senko, Devis, and tSuMi in the same voice chat together. If you know anything about these people, then you can probably guess what was going on in that server. And it's extra funny too, since Devis was also in the TSS team at one point. They truly only hire the best of the best. As always, I want to express my deepest gratitude to all my Patreons. Your support sustains my tortured mind and allows me to cover awful topics like this one. I love you. And to everyone else, thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.